And hello everyone, welcome back to another Flask tutorial. So in this tutorial we'll be taking a look at the home page. So when someone visits our website, that's the page they should see. They should be able to see the files that has been uploaded and maybe download them as well. Now again, when we get to the template stuff, I don't want to spend 5 hours on it because I feel you can just go look through it and you'll most likely understand what's going on there, and I'll give you a little bit of an overview. So here we have our code. Again, link is in the description to get to the lessons. We can go to lesson 5. We can go to Tor Friends, Templates, Root, and here we have an index.html. We want this file. So I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to click this copy button and it will copy the code in here for me. Then here we can go to root, index.html, paste, save, and here we go. Now we have our index.html. To give you a quick overview of what's happening here, here we have the head block where we're just saying the title is Tor Friends now. Then we have a link, and this link just links to the index.css. We already have this CSS file, so CSS, index CSS. And then it ends the head block. Then here we have the body. So we have a container, a row, and most of this isn't too important. Here we get for each torrent so we're going to be receiving a few torrents we want to display, or a few files that can be shared. And we get for each key and item. Then here we go and create a few rows, and we'll get a look to how this looks in a second. We then display it with the magnet link here in the href. So when they click it, the magnet link will try and open up their file sharing application. And here we have a little function in general.js. So if we go to static JS general, this right here, and it just helps with this. It allows us to get a little bit of a tooltip, a few extra details. And there's a lot more things here. You can go through most of it, but as you can see, it's just displaying data for us to see. So for the most part, you don't have to worry too much about what's going on in here. But you can go look through it. It's up to you. It's not too complex, so anyone should be able to understand this. Alright, so now let's actually code this. Now there are a few new functions I would like to add. The first function would be an auxiliary. So now we need to be able to make a string safe so it can be stored as a link. So when they click it, it doesn't break anything, because some characters are not allowed in links. Or those characters might modify the link to which it goes to. For example, you don't want a link that looks like this. So we have /home/ and this is the link that's not going to be there. I am cool or rule. You do not want this. This here, no go. This should be converted into something similar to /home/I am fool, like this. This is much safer than this, because this will change this URL and these spaces might cause issues, because generally spaces are parsed as %20, I think. But if we just use a space, it might not be parsed like that. So this is very important. So to make sure we don't get any issues such as this, we can say define remove special characters. And we need a string of type string. And it will also return us a new string. And we can add a little bit of documentation. We'll remove special characters in string. Characters, not letters or numbers. So special characters, but letters or numbers are safe. And replace it with an underscore. Cool. Now when we go here, we can just say return RE, and RE we can import from here. So RE, and this will allow us to use regex. We can then say .sub, and this will replace a substring for us with something else. Then in these brackets, we can use in caret like this, and then A to Z, A to Z, 0 to 9, plus. And you can just specify an underscore, and we can say str underscore. Okay, so this right here is regex. I don't understand regex very good, because I don't do a lot of regex in my day-to-day life. However, I do know this specific regex means anything that is not a letter or a number. That should be replaced with this. We can actually see this in action. So let's go here. We say Python import re, and let me just copy this part here, and we can paste it here. And let's say I am cool. We get I underscore am underscore cool, or I am like that. And you'll see this will actually just remove that completely and make it an underscore again. Or even, we can go like this. This is my 5th file I'm uploading. This is my 5th file I am uploading. So this will kind of make it link safe, so we don't have to worry about it, which is amazing, because you don't want to worry about links. That's the last thing you want to break on your site. So that's what we're doing here. We're just saying replace anything that's not in A to Z or 0 to 9 with an underscore. We can create another one, define reverse dict. So this will reverse a dictionary for us. So if we want to, order a dictionary, but from back to front instead of from front to back as with default, this is the way to go. We can then say dict, and there's of course multiple ways you can do this. We can say returns a dict, but this I feel is probably the best way for our scenario, because we're so basic. Reverse the dict. Okay, we can then say rev torrents is equal to a dict object, and then say for kv in reversed, and you specify the dict to be passed in dot items. So now we're trying to get the items, and it should be for, not from. And you can say rev underscore torrents is equal at k is equal to b. So basically we're just creating a new dictionary object from this reversed dictionary item here. Now a lot of times when you copy a dictionary or try and reverse it or something like that, you might get issues such as the dictionary has been copied directly as a reference. So when you edit the one dictionary, the other one might get edited as well, and things like that. This here will prevent such measures or such things from happening. So yeah, I'm just using this here. It's a very safe method. Might be a little bit slower, but it's safer. And then finally, let's go to root.py and work on our index page here. Now I'd like to add a few of these before we get started, because we already want a bunch of issues to pop up if needed. Deleted, and I'm just going to copy this a bunch of times. This should be enough. So you have deleted, guest, torrent, added, torrent, modified, and not mod. Again, we'll get into what all of these does in a second. So for deleted, we can just say torrent deleted, and this can just be of info. So if someone deleted their torrent, then this will display. If it's a guest, then we can say only logged in users can use that feature. So let's say adding a torrent, deleting a torrent, modifying a torrent, comments, such things will cause this. And we can say info, it's not necessarily an error. And with torrent added, we can say hurrah, torrent has been added. And we can say info, and here we can do the same. So, but instead of just saying hurrah, we can just say torrent has been modified. And finally with not mod, basically it's going to be the same as this. However, it's going to be directed to mods specifically. So only mods can use that feature. And here we want to say warning, because you might want to like report this to maybe someone who manages this website. So if someone tries to do something a moderator should be able to do, you might want to take a look at what that person tried to do. So you might want to track them a little bit if possible to see how did they get to the point where they're trying to do something only a moderator can do. You might want to do something like that, but again, not really necessary. And finally, let's create a few dummy torrents. So torrents is equal to, and here I just copied and pasted a few things because it's a lot of unnecessary typing. So here we need an ordered dict, which we can import from collection. So from collections, import ordered dictionary. This ordered dictionary allows us to have our dictionaries ordered in a specific way. And then from here, we can just import JSON. Flask has its own JSON module, which is very nice. Then here, torrents becomes an ordered dictionary from JSON nodes. And here's a bit of JSON. For those of you who don't know, JSON is just key value pairs. So in this case, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, and so on and so forth. Almost like when we go to users, they have this ID. This is the same, but for the torrents. But these are just in JSON format. Then we have the full name of the torrent, the name that's going to be displayed of the torrent, the magnet, the size, and in the size type, so this will be 2 gigabytes. Which type it is, in this case it will be other, its minor type is none, and we'll get to all of these minor details in the description and the user that uploaded it. Cool. So it's just some dummy data, not any real data here. And then finally, we can say rev torrents is equal to reverse dict. And this reverse dict is the function we created. And we just say torrents. And now we can go here to the bottom and we can send this data to the front end. So we can just say render template index.html torrents is equal to this reverse torrents, and then RSC is equal to remove special characters. So this is a function that we can call that will call this function for us. To give you an idea, if we were to go back to that template, then here we have it. So the ID is equal to this RSC, and then we pass in the item name. So the ID of this div will be this specific item name here. So there will be no spaces, there will be no forward slashes, and stuff like that. Cool. Now when we run this, we now open it up, and here we get has no attribute item. Okay, so we get an issue with the attribute item. And I think this should be items, not item, my bad. Now when we refresh, there we go. So you'll notice this Spider-Man one, it is at the bottom, at the top I mean. That is because we reversed it. So the one that has been added last will be this one. Another cool field you could possibly add here, which I didn't really think about back then, was you could put here created at and modified at, which could also bump it up and down if you wanted to, and the amount of seeds and whatnot. But since it is primarily focused on file sharing rather than actual torrenting, we won't be implementing things like that. Then here we go. Now we have a details button, which when clicked should display details. But here we do have the Spider-Man and Linux Mint. When we click on them, it will try and open up a URL. So with a torrenting application because it's a magnet. And I believe this doesn't work because, my bad, I actually forgot when we go to Tor Friends here. We do need to actually go into static. I don't know why I split it up like this, but we need to go into JS general, and we will actually have code we need to copy, and then here we need to paste it here as well. So JS, and we can just paste it here, and this will make that part work. Now we just need to, of course, restart it, refresh, and now when we go here, it will actually pop up and show us the details. So the owner is nickbra232. Here's the description. Here's the type. It's a game for Windows. The size is 500 megs. Wow. And then here we have the full name. And then the same here. Cool. And that's the basics for the homepage. There will, of course, be a lot of extra things that gets added in the future. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And I will see you all again in the next Flask tutorial.